What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies? So I know y'all are on here to see one person and one person only. Y'all ain't here to see me. Y'all here to see the great Candace Owens. So I'm just waiting for her to finish up eating. Y'all know we on colored people time. So so as soon as she finished eating, she gonna jump on here. No, I love it to death. So while I'm here, man, me and Candice are gonna talk about some of the issues that we are facing in America today. We're gonna talk about George Floyd. We're gonna talk about these riots. We're gonna talk about the issues with men in America, or the lack thereof of good, solid, reliable men, and why it's important to you. So those are gonna be some things that we're gonna touch on. Shout out to everybody jumping in the super chat, jumping in the regular chat. Shout out to the Tatum Squad people out there. I see you. I love you. Thank you so much for the support. Shout out to Sky. She's out there on the ones and twos. All my mods out there. I really appreciate y'all. And so while I wait for Candice to jump on here, if you got some super chats, I'm going to answer them now. And then when Candice and I are talking, you feel free to super chat or ask questions. And then I'm going to leave a little space at the end for Q&A. And for those who are just joining, Candace Owens and I are going to talk about a few issues. We're going to talk about George Floyd. We're going to talk about the riots. We're going to talk about what's going on in America. I want to talk about her new book. I call it new, but hundreds of thousands of y'all already got the book. But we're going to talk about a book, her new show called Candice on the Daily Wire, which is phenomenal. I was on her show a few times already, and the show is it go hard. And I'm gonna say this too: the Daily Wire go hard, and I know that they may be somewhat of a direct competitor to me because I have the Tatum report, but the Daily Wire is legit. I have to give them the credit. They are legit. I was at their little headquarter things where Candace's show is at, and I was amazed at the technology they have, at the professionalism that they displayed. So we're going to talk about these things. And I'm just waiting for her to get in. She's on CPT, just like we all are. Don't charge it to her heart. Trust her head, not a heart. So let me touch base on a few things while we wait. People have been, that video that I made about the kid, right, that had the incident in Minneapolis where they burning down their own city. Let's see. In Indianapolis where they burning down their own city. I've gotten, that video is almost viral on my page because I described exactly what happened, why it's important, and from a police perspective and a very balanced perspective. Some people don't have enough guts to say the truth and to criticize both sides, but I did. We wrote an article. One of my writers named Darius, a tremendously talented young man, I believe we published the article that he wrote, giving the details about Dante Wright, stuff that I didn't even know he did. I didn't know he had previous interaction with police. I didn't know that his warrant was potentially for him fleeing the scene and marijuana possession, guns. I mean, all of these things that young man was involved in has nothing to do with his death per se. But I really believe that people need to stop painting the picture of these brothers as being Jesus Christ incarnate and start really telling the truth so we can correct some of these behaviors. So the great Candice has arrived. It's probably a little my fault. I must have sent it to the wrong email. But for those of you who are just joining, Candace Owens and I are going to talk about a bunch of things that you want to hear. So without me running my mouth too much, I want to introduce to many the great Candace Owens. What's up, Candace?
Hey.
You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Your camera glitchy.
Is it?
Let me get my picture out. So Candace Owens, I'm sure it'll clear up at some point, but
I can see you so clearly. Can you hear me?
You're right. We'll chat. I'm gonna pull the screen down and then I'll bring her back in. I think your camera was a little off, but I think it'll come back. It's just a little digitally. pixelated. So I'll bring Candice right back in as soon as she fixes it. But I forgot what I was talking about. So y'all just get ready. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button. Especially if you like Candice, hit the like button. Let's see. Camera. Let's see. All right. So I'm just going to give her a little chance. I think she has some little technical difficulties. But I should have, if you have Candace Owens' book, I want you to put a heart emoji in the comment section because I got my copy. Corinne and I both got a copy. Signed. Don't get jealous. It's signed. But if you got Candace's book, you know, put a little heart emoji. I want to know how many people have Candace's book. And if you don't have it, the link will be in the description section. And you can get the book. You click on the link, you order the book. I see the book everywhere. I see it when I'm traveling. I see her book everywhere. Probably one of the most popular conservative books in history. I think it's probably one of the most popular books in history. Surpassed Obama, who was a president, who was probably the most beloved president of all times. And that joker got passed up. Candace passed him like he was sitting still. Passed him up like he was sitting still. Michelle Obama, I don't know if she had more than Michelle, but she should. I see people covering Michelle Obama's pictures all the time. So shout out to Candace for her success there. And if you haven't seen the show Candice on the Daily Wire, all you got to do is go to Daily Wire, jump on there. It's a subscription. I think it's like a couple dollars or something that you can subscribe. I think you can do it annually. You can do it monthly. So go on there. I failed to put that link in there, but you go to Daily Wire and you will have Candace's show. So we're going to talk about a lot of these things in the fallout from George Floyd, the fallout from the young man, right? What that means for the community and solutions. The biggest thing that I want to always do is that when we have these conversations and we're talking about things that have gone wrong or whatever the case may be, I want us to also, give solutions. People often criticize myself and Candace Owens and say, oh, you guys just pundits, you talk on television, but Blexit has done more. And if you guys don't know what the Blexit Foundation is, I co-founded it with Candice. Blexit is a play on words, Blexit and Brexit. It's the black exit, like the British exit, it's the black exit for foolery. A lot of African-American people or people, I like to say Americans of African descent, have been duped into believing a false narrative. And in my personal opinion, it's up to us to destroy that narrative, to give revelation of, what the truth is. And that's why Blexit is so important. And shout out to the Blexit folks. I know it's a lot of people in Blexit. It's funny. We hired a writer today that's associated with Blexit. And that wasn't even disclosed to me when we finalized the interview, and she had, spoke about in an interview that she does do work and help with Blexit. Candice, if you can see me, your camera looks great. It looked like it's smooth. So I'm gonna bring you back in. So let's see. Let me bring Candice back in. All right, Candice, there you go.
There we go. I'm sorry about that. I just switched to my laptop, so I'm sorry it looks a bit grainier, but I guess it was just where I'm in the house.
You good, Candice. I mean, everybody, even if you was a frozen picture, people would love to hear you and the great things that you say. So I want to start this thing off by just saying how much I appreciate you, Candice, how much I appreciate you coming on to the interview, how much I appreciate what you do for the cause. But I want you to talk to people about just a little bit right up front about your book, because your book has been killing. I mean, you was over Barack Obama at one point and probably still over him, but talk a little bit about your book. Why did you write the book? What is it kind of about? And there's a link in the description section for people to get it, but talk to them about your book.
Okay, foremost, just apologies to everyone that I look crazy right now. I just made my husband food, then cleaned the baby. So life is a little differently this time. So I'm wearing a lot more t-shirts, but yeah, so, the book, it's been super exciting. It's actually, for whatever reason, back to selling really hot again. We are very close to selling 500,000 copies, which is incredible. And the reason why I wrote Blackout was because there were so many lies out in the media about me and who I am and where my heart is. And I know that there are so many Black conservatives like you who go through the same thing where your heart is in the right place, but the media, which I believe is a white supremacist media structure on the left, gets so nervous and scared about the idea of Black people hearing what we're saying, actually hearing what we're saying, implementing in their lives, and actually bettering themselves, that they essentially put a hit on us. The only way to describe it is like a media hit, right? Whoever can take them out, off to the highest bidder. And I felt like if I wrote this book, it would allow people to hear from me directly. And so I wrote every single word in my book. You know, they wanted me to, you know, first just get a ghostwriter. It's fine, you're hot right now, just put your face in the book. And I was like, no, I want to write every word in this book because it needs to come from me. People need to know where I came from. There were just so many lies that needed to be sorted through. About my childhood, this idea that I was a Democrat, you know, for my whole life, and then woke up one day and said, there's money on the conservative side, which couldn't be further from the truth. I was never a Democrat. I've never voted Democrat my entire life. I was a liberal because I think that's sort of the factory setting for all Black Americans. We think we have to be a liberal. It's very rare to meet a Black person who's been a conservative their whole life. I've never met one because we go through the public school system. So I wanted to then give them, you know, what I went through to arrive at the conclusion that the Democrats are evil, that their intentions have always been nefarious with Black Americans, and that they have essentially recreated the same plantations that they had us on in the South. They've recreated again in modern times through various different means. And so I laid out my thesis. And I think a lot of people read the book, told a lot of people to read it. And it's definitely transformed a lot of people's opinions about me.
Awesome. Candice, I saw on Twitter, I mean, not on Twitter, but on Instagram, I saw people reading your book to their children.
I know.
I mean, that's an incredible book to read, to have it as a guide to read these materials to small children. These weren't like, you know, teenagers. These kids had to been like 5 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good bedtime story. Make sure your kids turn out conservative. But I think, you know, for me, one of the most important things was just for all Americans to come together and realize how much race is being used for certain people to garner power. Like, they are literally using divisive tactics intentionally. People overseas see an opportunity. If you just stoke racial conflict in America, you get people to look everywhere except for where they should be looking, which is at these political institutions, at the education institution, to understand that they are, you know, dumbing down the education system. They want Black Americans and all Americans to be ignorant because an ignorant population is the easiest to control, because ignorance breeds emotion. And what I mean by that is, if you look at a toddler, hey, we both just had a baby, right?
Yeah.
When you have a baby, they're screaming and they're crying because they're fundamentally ignorant. They don't know anything, right? And so all they know how to do to get attention and to get what they want is to scream and to yell. They don't have the words. They don't have the etiquette. They don't have the experience or the knowledge. And as people age, you know, it's not appropriate, you know, for us to throw temper tantrums because we understand things more. What's happening right now in America is they are trying to create a system where everybody's ignorant, everybody's a toddler, and which is why when you look outside and you see this rioting, this looting, and people reacting emotionally, that's by design. That's not by accident. And my book brings people closer to that truth.
Yeah. So if you don't have the book, I told people to put hearts in the comment section if they bought the book and it was filled with hearts. So I'm pretty sure most of y'all already have the book, but if you don't have Candice's book, Blackout, the link is in the description section. Jump on there, click the link. You can go out of the live stream, click it, come back in, have both screens open, whatever you got to do. But make sure you go on there and snag that book. Y'all hit the like button too. We got like 4,000 people on here. We need to have 4,000 likes. So Candice, you have been progressively successful ever since I met you. I remember you started out Red Pill Black. This little Black girl making videos on a couch somewhere, and they were viral. But as we both evolved and things have opened up for us, I think we worked at Turning Point together. We started Blexit together, and now you have a brand new show that's fire. I was there, and I was blown away at how amazing Daily Wire is and how they treat you and how respectful they are and how everything is just real. You know, it's professional. So I want you to tell my audience a little bit about your show, because people may not have seen it, or they may not know how to have gain access to it. So tell my audience a little bit about your show called Candice.
Yeah, so it seemed to me to be the next natural step. I've intentionally situated myself between politics and culture because I understand that the cultural arguments define the political ones. And the way in which conservatives have lost, the reason why I thought I had to be a liberal, the reason why you thought you had to be a liberal, is because Democrats and liberals have controlled culture, and there's never been content of conservatives just talking about topics of the day, right? You never hear a conservative opinion. You don't realize it because you just assume when you're watching a show like The View that you're hearing different sides, and you're not. It's very carefully catered to make you think that you're hearing opposite sides, but you're really only hearing one opinion expressed in different ways. And so it felt to me like the next natural step was to create sort of a late night talk show vibe where we discuss the topics of the day, just so people can have a different perspective, so they can hear conservative voices debating the topics of the day, so they can make up their own minds. You're not able to think critically if you're only presented with one side. Right? That's the dogmatic approach that we're seeing via the education system. Everybody has to agree with one thing or else be called a racist or a sexist or a misogynist. And then that's a form of intellectual bullying. And I'm unapologetic in being a conservative. And, the show is called Candace because that's me. You're never going to get an apology for me for not swimming with the mainstream, because I think the mainstream is poisoned. I think the mainstream is toxic, and I'm not trying to die that way. So I'll stream upstream against the current. And that's what we're doing with our show, is just kind of hitting the topics of the day, having interviews with people. Sometimes they're lighthearted and fun because, again, it's a cultural show, but other times they will be really hard hitting and talking about things that are really important to the times that we live in right now.
Awesome. So y'all can just go to Daily Wire. I think you go on Daily Wire, subscribe, and they'll have access to
my code Candice, 25% off.
Use code Candice, 25% off. I'll put it in the description section. Sean, I know you're watching, can you put that in the description section and probably do the link to Daily Wire? But Candice, it's funny because I know you, like we're brother and sister, but you inspire me. You be kicking people on the Twitter all day long. I go on Twitter and I'm like, how is Candice going this hard? And people fold under pressure. Like when you on there hitting them over the head, whether they celebrities or whatever the case may be, I'd be like, God dang, I would hate to be on that side of Candice. But can you talk a little bit about like why you go so hard on Twitter? Like what's your motivation, and how effective do you think that your Twitter is when it comes to influencing young people to be brave and things like that?
So I've always loved Twitter. I've had a Twitter account since Twitter first came out. That social media platform is my favorite amongst all of them because it takes away all of the stupidity of boobs and butts and girls just trying to get likes and thirst traps, whatever it is Instagram's doing. And Facebook has so many different functions I find to be distraction, but Twitter allows for it. It is purest form. It's not in its purest form today because there's so much censorship, but what Twitter really allows for is just ideas, right? It allows you to think. And so when I, started tweeting and so many people try to tell me you're not allowed to have that thought, right? This is my thought bubble. I'm allowed to think whatever I want to think, right? And so when somebody comes at me on Twitter and was like, you're not allowed to think that, I'm just thinking, who are you to be in my thought bubble telling me what I'm allowed to think, right? But that's the society that we live in today. There's so much censorship. There's so much, you have to just swim with the narrative. And if you do anything, then all these blue check mark people are going to come at you and scream at you. And I'm just trying to remind people on Twitter that think while you still can, like while it's still permissible to have thoughts, because the direction that the world is going into right now, it seems like we're not even allowed to be an individual, to have the audacity of an opinion. And so, yeah, in many ways, I'm just saying how I feel, right? It's like Kanye's song, I'm just saying how I feel, man. I went to Cosby's, I went to Hill, man. In one ways, I'm just saying how I feel. But then when I see people that are trying to force me to think something else or to be something else, then I lock horns with them because you can't win when it's my thoughts, right? And I think that people see that, and they see that I'm still there and I'm still saying what I believe, and that I don't fall to the trap of believing that because the mob says something, I have to think something, that it kind of invites them and gives them the permission to also just have their own thoughts and to think critically and to digest other opinions, but to always stay by their own.
100%, and I'm glad you do that, because you inspire. Every time I go to a speaking engagement somewhere, somebody's talking about Candice, like, and young girls are like, "Can I meet Candice?" So I'm just saying this while we live, because somebody from Boise probably is watching this. But you and I have to do a major event in Boise State. I was at a military veteran air hangar, and this thing is killing me. That Slack. Anyway, I was at a military hangar, and it was a phenomenal event. We had over 200 people. There would have been thousands, but they were at max capacity. So we have to go to Boise at some point. But the young ladies at Boise was like blown away, and they were wondering, like, if I ever saw Candice, it would just melt my heart, because I admire her. So what you do just really spark a flame in young women, especially to be who they want to be and to live the life that they've been called to live. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, like, the stuff that's going on today, with the hold on one second. I know this is very awkward, but my Slack channel is making so much noise that it's about to drive me insane. And even though I turned it off, it's still making little tick noises. But with the climate that's going on today, with George Floyd's and the rioting and protesting, what is your thoughts on the conditioning of America? Meaning, like, why are people so stupid that they out here burning their own communities over these thugs? What's your take on that?
I think initially it started with two stupid people that were passionately wrong. People are passionate about being wrong these days because they don't know anything. And I think that was demonstrated for me when I did the George Floyd video, and I got 100 million views. And people were flooding my comments all around the world saying I genuinely had no idea. Like, their hearts were in the right place. They genuinely thought Black Americans were being disproportionately killed by police officers. They genuinely thought George Floyd was just a guy that was just, got the police called on him and got killed. Their hearts were in the right place, but the media was telling a lie. And when I did this video, it kind of cracked the lie. And now, obviously, as more things come out with his case, people are realizing, okay, we went from saying he was, totally above board guy who did nothing wrong and they were on his neck and now he can't breathe, to like, okay, no, actually he was completely on fentanyl and intoxicated with drugs, cocktail of methamphetamine, fentanyl, and whatever they found in his car, pills they found in his car, fentanyl pills. But still, it doesn't matter because he shouldn't be on his neck too. Oh, well, actually, okay, he wasn't on his neck, he was on his shoulder, but still, Candice. So the people that are actually, whose hearts are in the right place, are now waking up to the fact that, okay, maybe I reacted too soon. So what you're seeing now, because it seems like, okay, well, you think everyone would be slower to react. What you're seeing now is actually not dumb people. It's smart people. It's smart criminals, right? So if you're a criminal right now, if you're a person that would normally go out and try to steal something from Target, right? If you're running scams, you're selling drugs, you're genuinely just waiting for a Black person to get killed by police officers, because then you're allowed to go out and be a criminal and there's no consequences, right? So actually, these are the smart criminals, right? Like, it's like, if you're ever going to do it and not get arrested for it, it's after a Black person gets shot, because all of these stupid woke corporations who get their TV stolen from, like Target, say, oh, well, that's just the price we have to pay when somebody dies. So I think it's shifted from good-natured people whose hearts were in the right place to criminals who like to do hood rat stuff with their friends. You know what I mean? and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they out there burning stuff down, killing each other, and nobody's held accountable. They're not doing anything. This is open season. I don't know how stealing Jordans and Nikes and looting Walmart have anything to do with people that are dying. And what this means to me, Candice, and I think you agree with this, is that this whole thing is a farce. None of this has anything to do with the quality of life for Black people in America, the Black deaths in America. Because if Black Lives Matter and these organizations and these protesters, and if they really cared, I honestly believe they would be protesting in the inner cities when little kids get murdered. They will be protesting when David Dorn died. They will protest when Black officers get killed, because there's been plenty that have been killed unjustifiably, and they don't do any of it. They go out and buy mansions. The co-founder she got mansions in white neighborhoods. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, in her defense, right? I forgot what her name is, Patrice something. She came out and said she was a Marxist from the very beginning. She believes in Marxist ideology. Marxist ideology is stealing money from other people to enrich yourself, right?
Right.
She did it, like she did it. She stole money from a bunch of other people who were more ignorant than her. Karl Marx wanted to marry people to the government. Marxist ideology, like communists, Vladimir Lenin, they wanted to marry people to the government. They used Marxist ideology to keep people in power. So we're the people that are smarter. We're the political class. We're the smart people. We're going to sell Marxist ideology to dumber people, right? The collective, who will see themselves as a collective, tell them it's all about the collective, while we enrich ourselves. She did that. I almost have to respect it. You know what I mean? There's nothing about what she did and what that she lied about. She never, made it seem, it's you got to be smarter than that to get scammed by her. So it's like, you can't discredit a Marxist for being a Marxist, right? And this is what it looks like. So people that are now kind of having the wool pulled from over their eyes, like pulled back from over their eyes, are saying to themselves, how did I fall for this? Why is she living in this? Well, it's like, because you don't know what a Marxist is and you had no idea what she was talking about. And you believed the lie that if you were just in this together with a bunch of people, your lives were going to get better. No, her life was going to get better. Any person that's teaching you Marxist doctrines, their lives are going to get better. They're not teaching you Marxist doctrines because they actually believe in that. AOC, she's become a multimillionaire, right? She came, I'm good. The rich man's got to do this, rich man's got to do this, rich man's got to. AOC became a multimillionaire while you guys were all rallying behind her. But she told you what she was. She told you was a socialist. So you have to respect AOC because she never lied about the fact that she was a socialist. The problem is that the people are not learning about what socialism is. They're not learning about who Karl Marx was. They're not reading the Communist Manifesto. So they keep being surprised by all of these things. I just go, well, okay, that's the next logical step.
Right. I feel like I need to pass the offering plate around with all this this preaching going on. I really do. I think that people are being fooled. There's a difference between capitalism and Marxism. Capitalism is that I'm gonna provide a value or a good to you, and as many people as I can to change your life, and then I will be compensated in return. Marxism is that no, I'm gonna trick you and play on your heartstrings so you can give to a nonprofit organization. I'm gonna take all that money and I'm gonna be rich. And then when these young brothers are all dead and there is no hope for them, when the Hispanic population has overcome the black vote and black people have nothing to say, the president don't even speak to black people, they don't pander no more, then she's gonna skate off in her $1 million property. She gonna get equity in them. She's gonna sell them. She's gonna be enriched in a billionaire, and probably not a billionaire, but she's probably gonna be a multi-millionaire on the back of these dead brothers. I mean, Candice, what do you think about what they're teaching our young brothers, specifically our young black brothers? Because we keep seeing time and time again resisting arrest, and then after they resist and get killed, they never address the fact that if you had not resisted arrest, or you had not been smoking drugs or stealing or robbing people, you wouldn't even get to the point where a police will contact you. So what's your thoughts, Candice, on, or your perspective on what is happening to our young black men that put them in these predicaments?
It's interesting because I find that the longer that I stay in this realm, the less compassionate I feel about it, because it's sort of like, and I remember having a conversation with a really prominent Black conservative who's a lot older than me. And he said, you're going to get to a point where you're going to become frustrated that people just can't get it, right? That they just like, it's just like, you get frustrated with stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, I've said this for 3 years. I warned you about Black Lives Matter, right? I warned you that they're going to pollute the education system with critical race theory so that Black people become more ignorant, angrier, react. I've been saying this for 3 years, right? And so when people turn around and they pretend to be shocked when this stuff happens, like, so it's hard for me now to feel compassionate, because I just am like, okay, I got to get to a point now where I can only try to bring the horse to drink the water so many times. And if you don't want to drink it and you want to be the horse that just passes out from dehydration, it's like, okay, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And I have to stop seeing myself as just a fixer of Black America. I have to now step back and say, you know what? I'm an American, right? I believe in free markets and I believe in capitalism, and I can tell the truth, but I'm no longer going to weight my heart to the truth anymore, because I need to just make sure that my life is good, that the people that I work with, their lives are good. For Black Americans that want to make their lives better, I want to make sure their lives are good, right? But I'm almost exhausted. Like I'm like uninspired now by the riots, and I'm just like, all right, well, idiots got to be idiots. You know what I mean? And it's not just Black people that are out there rioting and looting. Like, it is happening, obviously overwhelmingly in these Black neighborhoods that are burning down to the ground. But it's like, at a certain point, they need to individually get wise to what the actual racists are doing to them.
Yeah, and I remember going to Rider University, and it was a turning point event. It was supposed to be 50 people there. It ended up being 450 people. 400 turning point haters, people that hated me, showed up because I said that white privilege was a lie. The concept that they present as white privilege is a lie, and it almost broke me to the point where I'm like, man, I'm tired of messing with y'all. I don't even care about y'all no more. Don't ask me nothing. Y'all the dumbest people on planet Earth. I'm glad I got off the ship before it crashed because y'all are unreconcilable. Like, yeah. I remember being there and I said, you can be whatever you want to be. There's a young lady walked up to a mic and she was saying, well, my mama's on crack and all of this, and like I don't have opportunities. And I said, look, young lady, you on full scholarship right now at Rider University to run track. You are off to a good start. You have been put in a trajectory that's greater than what your mom has done. Now finish the race and do well. Start the next generation. And then she go, well, I can't get a job because, what if I go to a job and they don't hire me because I'm black? And I said, young lady, don't put the cart before the horse. Like, go to the job, perform well, and then see how it works out. If they discriminate against you, then you handle it. But don't be afraid. Then she turned around and say, well, I got 2 jobs. I'm like, well, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say you're gonna fail and you ain't never gonna be crap and you're a dumb Negro and the white man is always? And then when I tell her,
she does want you to say that.
I can tell her you could be whatever you want, and they booed me. The whole 400 people booed me.
Right. Because they need, and the reason for that is because they need to believe in the victim narrative. Like they think that it sustains them somehow because it gives them attention. So they are willing to compromise their entire futures for a little bit of false attention. And I say false attention because her standing up there saying, I'm never going to be nothing. I used to have a friend, Devin, who used to say to me, if you believe that you can't, you won't. It's that easy. If you believe that you can't, you won't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, if you believe that you cannot do something, you're in your own way, So you've got all these kids who are in their own way. So if she's up here trying to argue her own oppression, well, then by God, she is oppressed, but she's her own oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, so I have to agree with these kids. They tell me they're oppressed. I have to agree because if you've already convinced yourself of that mentality, you're your own oppressor. I see your oppressor right in front of me. It's you, So it's like, and it's sad, of course, because, I so want to believe that every person is capable of just thinking, right? Of realizing that the entire system right now is trying to turn you into an ideological slave, into an emotional slave, right? To view yourself as less than. You think you're less than, you are less than, right? It's that easy, You think you can, you will. You believe that you're more, you will be more, right? It's that simple. So you can't, you can hope that you can try to change a mentality, but we have to expect that a lot of these kids are facing an uphill battle because they have an education system that is psychologically conditioning them to not believe in themselves.
Yeah, 100%. And it's sad because I think it's that simple. I was on a radio show today. It was an iHeart radio show. And the guy, I don't know if he was just trying to pull a question out of me or pull a response from me, or he was disagreeing with me, but he was like, well, it's not that simple to tell people to stop using drugs and stop selling drugs and committing crimes. It's just not that simple. If they stop doing that, then the police will not be in their communities. And I was like, it is that simple, because you're not collectively holding the arms of everybody in the community and saying, kumbaya, let's go together. Let's all stop committing crimes. You're responsible for yourself. So when you wake up in the morning with a pocket of drugs and you say, okay, when I go out today, I'm gonna sell this dope, but there's a chance that I can go to jail for life, or I can get killed by somebody else that can rob me. Make the decision at your front door. And if you do your part, then, and everybody do their part, we will see a reduction in crime. We'll see a reduction in police response. And this leads me to my next statement in question for you, because we only got an hour and I want to do some Q&A at the very end. But like, at what point do we start being accountable as men? Like, I personally believe everything starts with the man. If you want a society that's going to be strong, that's going to be brave, that's going to be courageous, that's going to do the right thing, you need good quality men who are doing the right thing, who are marrying women, who are being great fathers, raising generations of effective leaders, or even children that are just not dummies. So what's your thoughts on the role of men in America and kind of what the woke culture has done to men, especially I believe Black men.
Right. I mean, listen, we got Kid Cudi in a dress. We've got Harry Styles in a dress. We've got all of these men that are being systematically convinced that it's a form of power and advancement for them to take on feminine traits. And you have a society that's reinforcing that via toxic feminism, right? You've got all of these women who can't find men, who are bitter to men, who then become the teachers of feminism and teach you that no matter what, it's the patriarchy that's keeping you behind. And that creates a toxic situation because there's no society, I've said 1,000 times, that can survive without strong men. There just isn't. There isn't. I mean, there's never been a time where there's been a war where it wasn't men that were going out there that were winning the wars, right? By and large, men, and women that were helping to win the wars by staying at home, raising good men, raising strong men. God created men to lead and men to be strong. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. I believe in gender roles from the bottom of my heart, but right now gender roles are being undermined. And they're being undermined from the time they get your kid in school. From kindergarten up, they are teaching your kid there's 26 genders. And if you feel like this today, you can be this tomorrow. If you want to be a worm, a butterfly, but you could be convincing them they should be anything but what they actually naturally biologically are. Right? It would be one thing if they presented being themselves as an option, like, hey, you can be a man, but no, they're actually trying to convince them that they can't be a man. And so, what I'm seeing happening right now is something that is sinister. And I say it's sinister because this isn't happening because a bunch of woke people hate America. It's happening because there's another country that's influencing America and wants to cripple it from the inside out. It's a different day. What I mean by that is that you cannot just invade a country the old school way, right? If you want to invade America, you can't just be like, I'm just going to throw a bomb and roll in some trucks to invade America. But if you did want to take over America, if you actually sought to take over the world and you recognize that times are different now, you would have to cripple America from the inside out, right? This is when we start to talk about China. At the same time that America is running this programming that men need to be women, walk around with their tail between their legs, and all these corporations who are largely funded by Chinese people. Chinese people own so much of American products. Everything we touch is made in China, made in China, made in China. At the same time, these corporations are telling us that being a man is wrong. China is running a parallel program to make men more masculine. So you can read that. That's not breaking news. Google BBC China program to make men more manly. So they are trying to systemize making their men more manly while they're trying to weaken our men. If you study foreign policy and you know about China it has always been after the Belt and Road Initiative, which was that they wanted to turn the influence of people to the East as opposed to people looking for the world influence to the West, right? So this has always been their goal. They had a 100-year plan that was intercepted by the CIA many years ago, which they want to take over the world, plain and simple, right? And if you start to study China and see the way that China is moving, right, even recently at Anchorage, making Joe Biden's Secretary of State look like a fool. We had a blue-haired girl, right, sitting next to our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, and China was just talking to us, saying, like, basically, you're not a world power anymore, right? We're the big dogs now. And people are not paying attention to that because we're busy with Black Lives Matter. China is sitting on a stage saying that America has race issues, trying to stoke race issues in America, while at the same time, they have concentration camps for Muslim people, right? You think it's interesting timing that all of a sudden the Stop Asian Hate campaign is starting in America. Oh, what's that going to lead to? The same place the Black Lives Matter campaign led to. It's going to lead to Black Lives Matter campaign. You can't criticize a Black person. Well, the Stop Asian Hate campaign, which makes no sense because we should be talking about Black Americans kill most Asians. It's going to end in a place where the media is going to say you cannot criticize Asian Americans, right at the time where China is suddenly saying we're the new world power. We're not going to be able to criticize China. We're not going to be able to talk about Beijing. We're not going to be able to talk about foreign policy, their initiatives, and they own Hollywood. China owns Hollywood. So all of the stuff that you're seeing is such a perfect ground for China to take over the world, which is what has always been their plan. So I pay attention to that stuff. Well, I can't even focus myself on trying to understand why this little guy wants to loot, because America right now is about to no longer be America. We have a president, Beijing Biden, who loves China, right? China is implementing their 100-year plan. China is owning virtually everything that's in this country. And people don't understand that or see that because they don't study foreign policy. Instead, they're looking for everything to be racist around them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. What you're saying is like, it's deep and crazy. Like we're getting tricked from all angles, and we worried about this while they over here doing a master plan,
Mhm.
because there is a strategic plan to dehumanize, or not dehumanize, but devalue men in our country. Like, and these fools are just going along with it, putting on dresses.
An
They
actual
being
war.
they want to be gay now, and it's nothing wrong with your sexuality, but I don't think it's something that people should be trying to aspire to be. Like if that's how you were born and you feel that way, then that's fine. But if you're a straight man and you trying to swing the pendulum just because it's popular today and it's cool tomorrow, and you kissing women, and like not Nicki Minaj, but the other girl, Cardi B, is doing, to try to sexualize yourself and make it more popular, I don't think that that's a good thing. But I think that it's an agenda being pushed, and we are so cowardice as Americans. And my wife and I talk about this all the time. Go
I
ahead.
just want to say, somebody just said, hold on, I want to find the comment, but they just said, can we talk about Russia and Ukraine? Well, yes, let's talk about Russia, right? So the thing that's interesting from the foreign policy perspective is also to understand at the same time, out of nowhere, they started this Russian collusion narrative. It was absolute BS, right? Absolute BS. On a single shred of evidence, when Trump was in office, it was Russian collusion every day, back to back, trying to just get people convinced that Russia had interfered with our elections. And just basically, when Trump's on his way out, they go, okay, never mind, there's nothing here. They were doing, making everybody come in, asking questions, all of these things. Now, why were the Democrats obsessed with the Russian collusion narrative? Because the person that the country that likely orchestrated that entire campaign was China. The biggest threat to China is Russia. It's its next door neighbor, and it's a nuclear power. So when you study geography and you realize, okay, here are the world powers, China could take over the world, but Russia would be a problem, right? The worst case scenario for China would be if America and Russia united, right? Trump would have done that. Trump would have gone in and sat down with Putin and come up and chopped it up and come up with some deals to work together. And what the Democrats forbade was allowing that to happen. So they murkied everything by saying Russian collusion. God forbid Trump had a phone call with Vladimir Putin. They would have been like, it's Russian collusion, you're selling our country. But actually, it wasn't Trump selling our country to Russia. It was the Democrats in their brilliance making sure they could have enough time to get Trump out and to make sure that no relationships were established with Russia, because the Democrats have sold out our country to China.
Man, I hope somebody was taping this. These facts that Candice is dropping in this last like 8 minutes or so, it's been fire. Like I can't believe that these things are happening. Like I almost feel like you are revealing things to me, and I'm like, dang, that stuff is really making sense. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. And also thank y'all for the super chats. I gotta jump in here and say thank you for all the super chats, the people that have supported. I think in probably a few minutes we can start going to some of these questions that people have. Candice, I don't know if you can see these questions on your screen, but if you see some, shout them out. Other than that, I'm gonna try to find some questions on here for people that have asked, and I want them to be serious about the questions. But while I'm looking this over, Candice, I got one question for you, because this comes up a lot, and you and I hardly ever get a chance to come on and talk about it at the same time. But not only are you and I ideologically different than some people on the left, but I think there's even ideological differences even amongst people on the right, because you and I get criticized because we haven't been in the conservative movement long enough. Somebody was at CPAC saying, I forgot the girl's name. She was at CPAC saying that all the white people loved you and everybody's focusing on one type of black conservative. And so what is your thoughts when it comes to the division that people try to create within the conservative movement, especially like the conservative movement of the old talking head black conservatives versus, I would say, the more newer wave, more popular black conservatives?
Yeah, it's funny you brought up CPAC. So I was obviously, I was supposed to speak at CPAC and I couldn't because I just had my baby, and I said I'm doing at least 6 weeks of maternity leave. And so I didn't speak at CPAC. And I'm proud to say that I had no idea people were discussing, that black conservatives were discussing me at CPAC, because like I said, there's just more important things going on right now. I'm so uninspired by, jealousy and people trying to tear people down. Like, I'm a person you want to build, let's build. Unfortunately, there are a lot of problems in the black community. One of them being is that black people do not know how to support one another. So when I hear the idea of a black community, it's almost laughable, because there's so much pettiness and anger and an unwillingness to build one another. So it's like you and I have just been together at every step of the way in our careers because we're not crazy. I don't know, because like we want to see each other do well. I mean, I just couldn't imagine getting on stage and being like, well, Brennan Tatum, you know, trying to like take away from your platform. Like, I want to see you grow because there's just so few of us that are telling the truth right now to Black America. And if we want that to grow, then we have to link arms. But that said, you know, I think what is another trap right now that's happening is that Republicans should not be so anxious as to have a Black voice that they don't vet. I have seen a lot of Black Americans that do see an opportunity to run campaigns and, you know, raise a lot of money, keep running, and raise a lot of money and take them from conservatives. Conservatives just go, oh, great, well, there's a Black person who is conservative, and so I'm willing to help them. And we find out down the line, these people are absolutely nuts, they're crazy, and all of these things come out. So I think that there's two parts, is that don't see them as Black conservatives, see them as people and vet them as you would any other person. And I understand like wanting to grow and have as much diversity in the Republican Party as possible, but don't have, you know, don't, my mom used to say the expression, don't spite your nose to something your face. I'm really butchered that one. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Don't cut your nose to spite your face. Bam.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, I know what she's talking about, and I can't even think about it.
I mean, you and I just don't make videos attacking. I'm building businesses. I don't understand.
That's funny. So I know people ask me every time you get on here, and I think it's a serious question that people ask you, because I think people really value who you are and what you've been able to build, and just you know what you stand for. But so people are asking, are you going to run for political office, or are you going to run for the presidency? Do you have any plans in the near future to do either one of those?
Listen, here's what I will say. If you had told me 5 years ago that I would be one of the loudest voices in the conservative movement in this country, I would have laughed at you. It's not off the table. If I ran for office, I would probably only run for president. I'm not interested in being a congressman. In fact, I think it'd be of more value if we got people to run, you know, city council. We got people to run for the school board on a local level. It would be more impactful than having another congressman. I think that, you know, it's all God's timing, and it's at the end of the day, if I look up and I think that we don't have a chance of stopping the Democrats unless someone like me runs, I would run. But I don't think any person should aspire to being the president of the United States, because it's a sacrifice. It's like aspiring to go to war, right? If the country calls upon you to do it, you do it, but you should not want to go to war. Your heart's got to be in a better place than that. And that's really all I could say. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not totally for it. If the environment was correct, I would run. And guess what? If I ran, I would win.
100%.
Game better than anybody else. They've tried to tear me down 1,000 times and it hasn't worked. They probably have a whole file for me waiting.
I know they gonna make up stuff they ain't got nothing.
Yeah, the DNC headquarters. Candice yelled at a puppy when she was 8. Here's a video. Video.
What's your thoughts on gun control, Candice? Like, what are your thoughts with Biden and all this other stuff? Or
again, they've always done this. The Second Amendment. Why do we need the Second Amendment? Think about what has happened in this country over the last year in terms of the freedoms that have been suspended. You're not even allowed to breathe. You are not allowed to breathe in this country without being yelled at by our government. Mask up, save lives. Can't walk where you want to. They shut down businesses. You think now it's time to have a debate about the Second Amendment? Absolutely not. Don't touch it, right? In my household, we went out and bought guns. I think most people should go out and buy guns, law-abiding citizens. The whole idea of the Second Amendment was to give us power against a tyrannical government. Right now, we have a tyrannical government, right? You know what I mean? So it's not a good idea to be debating any topics pertaining to guns at a time when our government is going in people's homes, dragging people out of churches. You know what I mean? Shutting down businesses, writing fines to people for breathing. It's out of the question to have a debate about the Second Amendment. And if you're uncomfortable, with guns, don't buy one, right? If you're a law-abiding citizen, you want to own a gun to protect you and your family, then buy one. The end. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, we got a lot of them in the reason why, and we got a lot of ammo too. The reason why is because we are free. We are supposed to be a free nation. Like, my life is my responsibility like we just had babies. I guess you and my wife just had a baby. I didn't give birth to nothing. So, but y'all had to go through all that and have a baby. But my family is my responsibility to protect. The police officers are here to assist. The government is here to assist in ways, but my livelihood, my life, my safety, my progression, my family, my legacy is all in my hands. And I'm responsible for protecting that. And I'm responsible for being a responsible gun owner and knowing my amendment rights and exercising those. So I hope people will understand that these politicians don't run you. We the people run this country. We the people are of the government. We are the government. And these fools start acting up, we get them out of here. I got a couple more questions for you, Candace. Somebody said, and people ask me this, and I'm sure they ask you this everywhere you go. They said, how do we share our opinions as conservatives to liberals who refuse to hear any other side of the story? And this is like to family members and close friends that you just can't get through to. You don't know how to talk to them. They're just beating you over the head. What's the best way for them to share their opinions, or at least help them open up their eyes to what's real?
What I always say is that awakenings take time. I know, like, if you're not ready for the truth, you're not ready for it. And you can't make that process go faster by telling somebody 1,000 things. I think eventually, especially in the way that society is progressing, something's going to happen that's going to rub them the wrong way, and they're going to realize that there's a problem. And that's what's happening with the Trump movement. I mean, Trump gained 10 million votes, more than 10 million votes, despite being labeled as a homophobe, sexist, misogynist, all of these things. He gained more votes. He doubled his support amongst Black men. He increased his support among Black women by 4 points, despite being called like the racist, white supremacist, literally Hitler person for 4 years. And that's because people are having experiences that are awakening them to what the media is, that the media is state run, meaning that it's no different than the CCP in media, no different than the Communist Party media. They are owned. They are not here to be a fourth estate to keep the government in check. In fact, they're here to keep the people in check. And the more people that wake up to that, it becomes an us versus them mentality, them being the tyrannical government that we have in place that's looking to strip us of freedoms. And it could be something as simple as took your daughter to school and your biracial child, which I just read in the news recently, got told that because they look white, they have to consider themselves privileged. And I saw a mother, and she went off about it because she was just a Black mom. And so now she's realizing, okay, this is what critical race theory is, where my biracial child is now having to fall. It could be you dropped your son off at school and you found out that teachers are trying to convince him he's a woman. I mean, they're doing so much crazy that just give it time and somebody will stumble upon something. Maybe, they're minding their business, walking down the street, and they're being yelled at and harassed because they're not wearing a mask. Maybe they're trying to go to church and their church is shut down. Their businesses have been shut down. I mean, I believe that our government is so tyrannical. Just give it a little bit of time and your friend, cousin, brother will be able to see things for what they are.
Right. That's almost like a person who's not a good friend. Just give it some time. Their true colors will come out. And that's exactly what happened to me. It just took a little bit of time. The thing it wasn't anybody necessarily on the other side that convinced me. It was the side I was on that convinced me. Like, yeah. It was nobody really told me, like, turn me away from the Democrat Party. It was Obama that did. I was like, bro, I will never vote for a Democrat again because of the way Obama was. He revealed himself. And I think people are getting revelation through COVID. People are getting revelation through the Brett Kavanaugh case, Me Too movement. People are getting revelation through all kinds of stuff. It's like I look at these like house of cards. You make this little house, you pull one card out, and everything goes to crumbling. So we got about 8 more minutes left. I want to ask you a couple more questions that people are asking. Shout out to Jericho Green, my brother from another mother. Y'all got to go follow Jericho Green on his YouTube. He said, "Congratulations, new parents." Appreciate you, Jericho. Somebody had asked a question now and then lost it. I think it was related to Chauvin. Yeah, that's right. So do you think Chauvin is going to be free, or you think Chauvin is going to be convicted of one of these charges and sentenced to prison?
Listen, I mean, if Chauvin goes to prison for third-degree murder, then our justice system is a joke. Plain and simple. I mean, the same trial that I'm watching, Derek. I mean, the person that should be in prison because of George Floyd's death is his drug dealer. His right. Drug dealer should be in prison for his death. Fentanyl. I mean, I remember when he first died, and it was discussed that he had fentanyl in his system. And a friend of mine who's a surgeon, he's fentanyl. He's like, I mean, literally, the task of me as a surgeon who, that he gives obviously medical grade fentanyl, is to basically make them, they're barely breathing. Literally, that's what it does. Tiny bit, it's 100 times more potent than morphine. I don't know if you've ever had morphine in your life. If you've gotten, I don't know, an epidural that had morphine, like the idea is going to be 100 times more potent than what women, some women, not all women use morphine to give birth, can feel nothing. I mean, it's just the concept of this is ridiculous. The overdoses that are happening is ridiculous. By the way, where's fentanyl coming from? China.
Yeah.
Another way they're getting it over the border, and they're passing up fentanyl into our country, but that's another issue. So, I mean, the only charge that I ever thought that Derek Chauvin could have been guilty of is, obviously the negligence. Like, you could say that it was manslaughter, and you could present that argument because this guy was not breathing, and he could have given him help. He could have set him up. I mean, I don't know if the paramedics have gotten here faster. That's the only angle that Derek Chauvin is going to go to prison. He is not going to go to prison for third-degree murder unless our justice system is literally, this is just, a show trial. And they're saying this is what it is now for, Black Lives Matter is in control, and doesn't even matter what the evidence is, the overwhelming evidence that this man died of an overdose, including him having overdosed the week before, his girlfriend testifying that they were addicted to drugs, the fentanyl that was more methamphetamine that was found in his system, the fact that he said, I can't breathe, before he even got put onto the ground, and they suppressed this tape. And because they wanted people rioting and looting and mobbing, they could have literally, even the fact that they interviewed, and they won't show the tape for an hour and a half, the drug dealer, a drug dealer for George Floyd. They're suppressing all of the evidence that clearly clears Derek Chauvin of the idea that he got in his car and decided to go hunt down a Black person. The person who called 911 said, something's wrong with this guy. He's high. Something's weird. He went into the car, he ingested drugs, and he died. Now, is there something that the police officer could have done to have maybe, tried to assist him faster? Fine, you can have an argument there. But as I said from the very beginning, when people hated me, George Floyd was a drug addict, and you're not going to make me feel like I need to feel bad for a drug addict who spent his whole life being a drug addict and died because he was addicted to drugs. You know what I mean? People make life decisions. He made his. And so, I mean, it is what it is. I don't have any emotional interest in this trial.
Yeah, I love it. You and my wife are like twins. My wife says the same thing. She's just so uninspired to even think about the stupidity that's associated with this trial, given the fact that they are making George Floyd and all of these young Black people have to be these martyrs. I just read, because a young man named Darius, we hired a young man as a writer on the Tatum Report, and Darius is killing it with the articles that he's writing. He's even informing me. I'm like, I haven't read this anywhere. How did he find this? He even mentioned that the guy, Dante Wright, the one that got killed in Minneapolis a couple of days ago, that kid had a criminal record, criminal history. Like, his warrant was related to him, fleeing from police and being in possession of a firearm illegally. And also he had other charges of possession of drugs. Somebody said he got robbed. He was robbing people. He on social media with guns and not drugs, but flashing money. We all know what that is. Right. And his dad had mentioned he dropped out of high school 2 years early. Like, the kid was living a life.
And we're being told we have to care about criminals. I don't care about criminals. I'm sorry. I don't care what color they are, whether they're Black, white, Hispanic. Stop telling me that I have to care about how a criminal meets the end of his life, a career criminal at that. Not even like you did one criminal thing. These are career criminals that you're asking me to invest emotion in, that you're asking me to feel. I don't feel emotional about career criminals. You're never going to make me feel like I need to give my platform. You just need to, you just light like you're at a concert for this career criminal who died being a career. It's just like, stop. You know what I mean? You are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. If you want to put George Floyd in your top 5 and you want to put him as a part of your average, go for it. He's not going to be mine.
And we got to stop celebrating stupid Black people. Like, I think there's so many great Black people in this country. There's so many great Black people around the world. Great Black people in history. Like the Black people that we celebrate today, that we honor, that we hold up on a pedestal. These people would be laughed out of restaurants back in the day. Black people used to be, in my personal opinion, by and large, the images of Black people, meaning the leaders that stood up, were very intelligent. They were God-fearing. They had poise. They would, like Martin Luther King, he would protest peacefully. He broke the law, but he didn't injure people. He wasn't malicious. And that's why they were most effective. Now we're celebrating people beating up police officers and looting stuff. Yeah. uh,
They're not looting because they care about George Floyd. They're looting because they can grab a free TV and take it to their house and there's no consequences. So stop any of these. Stop calling these George Floyd protests. They're just criminals that have an opportunity to do criminal things. That's it.
I thought about doing it a couple times, but I don't want to go to prison. I thought about going into Neiman Marcus.
I know. After Target gave the statement after they got looted and we're like, well, that's just the price that people have to pay for, racism. And I was like, all right, well then, why did I ever pay for anything at Target? I should just go in there and just start throwing in my
go in there, get some new socks. I want some.
I know we should honestly just slowly
get my wife some coffee pods and give me some new socks and some soap and deodorant.
You gotta pay like idiots, right? I mean,
but I want to go to Neiman Marcus. Like I went to Neiman Marcus to look around. I went to look around. I felt fancy one day. I'm in there and I'm looking at the price of this stuff and I'm like, God dang. And they said, you know what? We just got robbed when they did all this stuff and people came in here and wiped us out. I'm like, people came and got this for free. And I'm sitting in here contemplating, well, I want to buy something in here and they getting it for free. It's like we are creating a society of just nut jobs, man. So, but anyway, Candice, I love you. Thank you for coming out here. I know it's been an hour. You got a baby. You got business to take care of. So I promised you an hour. So I want to cut it right at an hour. So I appreciate you coming on. You got to come back. Have me back on your show. And people need to go and get your book. I want you to tell people how to get your book. I know I have the link in the description section. Is there anything you want them to know about that? How to get your show? How can they follow you on social media? All of that.
You know where to find me on social media. Book, you can just go buy it on Amazon. I hate to say that because I hate supporting Amazon, but that's where my book is at the moment. You can also go to Simon Schuster portal and buy it that way. And the show, Daily Wire, if you want to become a member, dailywire.com/subscribe and use my code Candice. And what else do I have going on? I think that's it, baby.
Oh, we got Blexit. I forget. We got a Blexit event.
We have a Blexit event this week in Chattanooga. I believe doors open at 4 p.m. So you can go to Blexit.com and get the details for if you are in Tennessee. We'd love to see you. I think we're sold out though. But maybe grab some SRO tickets, but I think we're sold out. Pretty sure we're sold out. And
they should have been quicker. We told y'all. I've been posting this all week. Since last week.
It's like a lightning rod. It's just instantly tickets are gone. So, but that's everything I'm working on other than being a mom and being a wife, which I'm about to go do now. Yeah, anytime, Brandon, I'll always hop on here with you and riff.
Oh yeah, for sure. So Candice, y'all show Candice some love. Do all that stuff she asked you to do. God bless you, Candice. Tell George I said hi. He probably in the background somewhere. Tell him I said what's up. And Candice, I need my glasses back. I left them at your house.
Oh, I'll get them overnighted tomorrow. They're the Tom Ford ones.
Yeah,
I got you.
They're my babies. My wife looked at me crazy when I bought them. I said, baby, it make my intelligence go up. So
Tell Corinne to text Savannah, and we'll get overnight to her tomorrow.
Perfect. All right, Candice. See you later.
Goodbye, loves. Goodbye.
All right, y'all know I love Candice. So what I want to do now is that I'm gonna go back through the super chats. If y'all want us to hang out, you can hang out. I'm gonna try to go back through the super chats and read all the ones that I missed because I owe the due diligence to you guys. But I think we made a goal. Our goal was to get to 5,000 likes. We're over 6,000. If we can get to 7,000 likes, I'll give a discount code of 30% off on my store. I shouldn't have said that. I want to go to 27, but since I already said it, I'll do 30% off on my store. I'll give a discount code tonight live if we get to 7,000 likes, and that's just only like 8,000 likes. So I'm gonna go. 800 likes. So I'm gonna go through some of these super chats and make sure I answer your super chats and give y'all a shout out. Let me get the code ready because I think that we poised to do this, and I would be remiss if I wasn't prepared. So again, thank y'all. Hit the like button. Shout out to Candice. Her book is in the description section. So if you're interested in getting her book, get it. It's all over everywhere. Every time I look on the internet, somebody bought her book. My book is coming out, Beating Black and Blue. When it's available for pre-order, I'll let you guys know. I initially had the book, but I had to extend it. I had too much other stuff to talk about. I want you guys to know more about my life. I wanted you guys to know more about my journey, my Christian journey, know more about reactions that I've had and things that I've done as a police officer. I wanted you to know more about other police officers. I interviewed some more police officers in the book. And so we had to extend it. And so it's gonna be available. Hopefully we can do it before November. But I'll let you know when it's available for pre-sale. So we're gonna put discount code Candice I'll do 30 this time. And this gonna end tonight. So I'm gonna do 30. It's gonna end at midnight. So if you are interested in doing it, you better get your butt ready to go. All right, let's get to these super chats. Again, discount code Candice, 30% off on my store. It's only going to midnight because y'all gonna run me dry and break the bank. If you see something on my store that have sold out because y'all buy my stuff up too fast sometimes, just notify me when made available. Therefore, we'll know exactly what you want, the exact size. We'll make it available to you. Candice, you get 30% off on the Officer Tatum store. Link is in the bio. Okay, let's read these super chats. I found you because of the post. You have woke me up. Thank you, Candice. You're awesome. And any advice of someone deciding to get in a political fight? Well, Candice, that was for Candice. I'm sure she saw it because she can see the comments as well. I just wanted to read it out. If you get in a political fight, be brave, be courageous. Don't be a coward. Don't be soft. Know you're going to take some shots. Don't worry about losing these people who ain't really your friends. They ain't your friends. So don't worry about losing them. They control the world using logical fallacy, 100%. People are controlling the world using logical fallacy. Thank you, DS, for that comment. Thank you, Brandon Tatum Candace Owens, for being truthful against the lamestream media. I appreciate it, Mr. Raves. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Julie, thanks so much for the super chat. Whoa, Candace said exactly how I feel. I tuned in at 27 minutes, except I think I just had a meltdown. Let's see. I think I just had a meltdown, went on text rant arguing with my woke daughter. Don't argue with your, oh, my eardrum. Don't argue with your daughter. Don't argue with your daughter. Don't argue with her. You know, this is my thing. Let her find out the hard way. If she want to be crazy, let her find out the hard way. Let's see. Taylor, thanks so much for the super chat. No step on Sneak. Thanks so much for the super chat. Let's see. Raph, thanks so much for the super chat. Sending love from Australia to you both. We appreciate it. Candace Owens is flat out gorgeous. I'm gonna tell her husband George you said that. No, I'm just playing. Not just physically, but also mentally. All right, bro, you better slow down. Nah, I'm playing. One of the smartest public minds we have. We need more like her and be Tatum. 100%. Candace is probably one of the smartest people that I know. Her and my wife are brilliant women that I think God only make them once in a lifetime. I was a 2016 Bernie delegate. After seeing the depths of the deception with my own two eyes, I had no choice but to run away. Amen, amen, amen. Let's see, Mariposa Roja. Maybe I'm saying that right. Let's see. I'm totally unnerved by the current volatility in America. Division to the 10th degree, and who's to say that the powers aren't behind you know what's. I think that it's a tremendous amount of division in our country. I think it's sad. But the people, I mean, we should be smart enough to know that people are pushing this agenda. Candace out here spitting facts. John, thank you so much for the super chat. Michelle, thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thanks for what you do. But you must convince Candace to run for president. Candace run for president, she better bring me on. I'll come in there and tear it up, y'all. We'll be running it. We'll be running the country. Do you think those who champion behind AOC or the BLM leaders even care that these people are very rich now, and it's because they are basically tricked? I think these people don't know. They don't care. They're being deceived. They're like broken domestic violence victims. You know what I'm saying? They just get beat so much that they've accepted it. And if you are donating to Black Lives Matter, donate your last dime because you think it's helping, and you find out this lady is buying $1 million properties in white neighborhoods. She's not gentrifying the black neighborhoods. She's not going into the black neighborhoods and building them up. She's taking her money and spending it in the white neighborhoods. She's building white schools because she's paying property tax on those properties in these white neighborhoods. She's not buying up 400 houses in the hood and letting people live there for free. Why not? When your whole thing is to help black lives. These people are full of and they know it. Let's see, Kid Cootie wearing a dress. I think, is it Cuddy? I said Cootie. Kid Cuddy, I think that's his name. What a wankster, man, wearing a dress. I'm celebrating Kurt Cobain. Bro, you just being a that's what you doing. You ain't celebrating nothing, you's up. And you know you just been waiting for an excuse to wear a dress because you's up. And your girl probably, and let me not even go there. Let's see. True Patriots here. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see. Alfred. Let's see. Alfred Yane. Read my Facebook page. You are repeating everything that I have been writing. The CCP is evil, not people. I need to get that clip of Candace going off on the CCP and stuff. I need to get the clip. Sean, are you watching? I need that clip of Candace going off. That clip is fire. I haven't heard people talk truth like that in a while. I was a little scared because I'm like, boy, they're gonna crash my channel. Okay, we had 7,000 likes. I know I already gave the discount code, so I messed up. I was sidetracked. We hit the 7,000 likes, and I already gave y'all the discount code. Discount code Candice, and if you can't spell Candice, you don't deserve a discount code. And especially if you can Google it. But discount code Candice, you get 30% off on the store. It ends at midnight, so y'all better get in there and do it right now because I'm gonna make sure it ends. I left that thing open for a weekend, and y'all ran me dry. So welcome to Nashville, Candice. I love seeing your sign outside of the Gulch. Appreciate it. Candice, can we call out anti-President Trump Republicans? You know, I'll call them out for you. All these people that's anti-Trump, these people are nuts. Like let me tell you something about President Trump just real quick. And I know people don't want me to talk about it. I know they get all in their feelings about this stuff on YouTube. But you got to think, like, as a Republican president, he was the most popular Republican president. He made the most moves out of any Republican president. And the dude had obstruction since the day he came down the escalator. Like, this dude is the Republican Party. Like, let me say this to people who are blind, who's smoking crack in the back somewhere. If you think somehow getting away from Trump is the future of the Republican Party, you are smoking crack. He revived the Republican Party. He caused people like myself to be more involved in politics and supportive of Republicans. And when they come out against them, I don't want to support Republicans anymore. Like, I don't even like the Republican Party is just, they turn me out just like the Democrat Party. They turn their back on Trump and all this other stuff. And I don't fool with them. Like, I'm looking for a candidate by candidate. Trump made me a Republican. I loved President Trump. I thought he was the greatest president that we've had. And if he wasn't obstructed, my God, he would be hands down destroying it as the president. But anyway, let's see. Putin is also trying to save Christianity in Russia. He has also called out the satanic dominating America. That's why the Democrats hate him. I listened to him speak, very Trumpian. I know that dude be going hard. Pew, 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 pew. And I'd be like, dude, he's saying something real deep right now. He's saying something real crazy. Like he got bass in his voice. Like, we got politicians now, they're sitting up there shaking and that's all, folks. And then they got somebody like Putin that's like, and you like, he must be saying something real deep right now. And people are shaking when he's talking. So if I knew Russian, I maybe I'll know what he's talking about right now. But y'all got these weenies over here in America just whining and apologizing to people and bowing and blue-head people. We're the suckiest country. Now, the people are good, but our country leadership is the wackiest people. Like, what happened to the men? What happened to the big dogs? What happened to, like, I'll slap you if you say something crazy to me. Don't you disrespect my country. Like, we got people apologizing for being an American. I wish I could say it. I want to say it, and I probably pray because God probably know I'm trying to say it in my brain. You are a wankster if you run around apologizing for being an American. You are a wankster. I don't have no respect for you. I love my country. I love my country above all y'all other people. It's God first, my family, and my country. And my family and my country are pretty close. Because my family is a part of this country. This country is every bit of my family. And so, quit being soft, man. Stand up for the American flag. I'll knock you out over my American flag. If I ever catch anybody trying to pull my flag off my truck, I'm going to knock you unconscious and put it on Instagram. That's how much I love my flag and how much I love my country. I don't let my flag hit the ground. I will break my arm before I let my flag hit the ground. Not because I'm idolizing. It's because I know the sacrifice that was made to fly that red, white, and blue. I know people have died for my freedoms. Their blood is in that flag, the representation of the flag. Let me tell y'all something. When you read the Bible and it talks about symbolism, when you read the Bible and it talks about being baptized into the death of Jesus Christ and all this other stuff, it's somewhat symbolism. But when you obey, you activate something in the kingdom of God. When you obey what God had told you to do, and there's all kind of symbolism, like communion. breaking in the body of Christ and drinking the blood, his blood or whatever. That's not his body and ain't his blood. But the symbolism helps you remember to the end of time. And the American flag is right under my Christian faith of saying, I support the flag because I remember. If you don't support the flag, you are peeing on the graves of the men and women who died in slavery, fighting for your sorry to be free. That's in the flag. The progression we made is in the flag. The wars we fought is in the flag. The men and women who fought in the Civil War, who were black and white, is in the flag. The freedom of slaves, Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad, white and black people working together, is in that flag. The civil rights movement is in the flag. Our freedoms, the Constitution, the foundations, and the Judeo-Christian values is in that red, white, and blue flag. I will knock you out over my flag. And that's all I'm going to say live. You will not disrespect my flag. That you won't, especially not the one I'm holding. You go and kneel for a national anthem, you a softie. You might as well be baking cookies and playing with easy bake ovens. You a wankster. I can't stand people like that. I can't stand people like that. You disrespecting my forefathers. Anyway, what we need is people to come up with really awesome. Let's see. What we need is people to come up with really awesome to the problems. Really answers to the problems. Maybe you mean with real answers to the problems, not just pushing what is wrong. I agree 100%. Not sure if you guys will read this, but I hope that you both are having a great day. Thank you so much. You two are the reason why I realize how much and long I've been a conservative. Amen. Thank you, Apex. Thank you much for the $100 super chat. Hey, I'm Candice. We love you from Arkansas. Brandon, we love you too. You guys are the pillar of the movement and ideological change in the black community. Keep up the good work. Both you need to run for office. God will have to come out of heaven and say, Brandon, it's your time. My son, run for office, presidency. He's going to have to say something crazy. And then I'm going to have to see him. I'm going to be like Thomas. I'm going to say, no, you ain't said that. I didn't see you. I need to see your mouth move. I need to see your mouth move before I believe that you said that to me. It could be the devil. I could be hearing voices. I need to see you with your mouth tell me I need to do that. And then I'll do it. Let me see. I'm just playing. I don't want God to put me in some predicament and like make me do it by default. I'll do whatever you want me to do, God. I said it in front of the world. Let's see. Stock market is going to crash. 80% of our treasury bond are held by non-Americans, aka China. Please look up everything short of Reddit. Everything short on Reddit. They're hitting our economy from the inside out. That's a good, interesting concept to think about and to internalize. Love you guys. Big Tatum, Tucson in the house. Let's see. Thank you from Tucson, man. Let's see. The Brooklyn Way. And I want to repeat to you guys so y'all know that there's a discount code. We hit 7,000 likes. Discount code 30% off. You put Candice in at the Arthur Tatum store. If we sold out of merch by the time you get there, because people are just buying up this stuff. If you sell out by the time you get there, just hit that button and say notify me when made available. We got a huge restock that's coming pretty soon. I think it's going to come next week. So if we're out of stock, keep it in your mind. We'll bring it back next week. But right now you better get in where you fit in because this discount going to end at midnight. Don't cut off the nose to spite the face. Also, wake up and stop jumping the sickle. Black culture is being hijacked by identity politicking, and let's see, intersectionality. Candice, please stay in the game. Carlos. I'm probably saying that wrong. How do we share our opinions to conservative? I think Candice answered that. What is the internalized capitalism? Let's see. Capital cam. Is it capitalism you mean, or capital? Or is it like a capital cam? Maybe it's internalized capitalism, even though it's spelled capital cam. I don't know. I have no idea what internalized capitalism is. Do you think Chauvin will get off? My personal opinion is I think Chauvin should get off. I don't think they've met the burden of proof. That's not to say right or wrong. I don't think they've met the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The state hasn't. I mean, they've contradicted just about everything. It could be many reasons why George Floyd died, and a lot of those reasons could possibly not be Chauvin. Big fan of you both, brave and truthful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Stephen, thank you so much for the super chat. Candice, have you listened to Tom McDonald? Should have asked her that question. I'm sure she have heard of him. Do you really think Russia could be our ally? Also, I have the two of you thoughts on reaction out to Cardi B. Would be amazing if you open her eyes. Oh, okay. I like that. Jericho Green, what's up, my brother? Biden said no amendment is absolute. I wonder if he thinks the same way about the 13th Amendment and the 14th or the 15th Amendment. These are the amendments. 13th Amendment freed the slaves. 14th Amendment, I think, gave black citizenship. 15th Amendment gave blacks the right to vote. No right is absolute. Okay. You just put your foot up and out of your mouth. What about the humanity crisis at the border? Save the children. Yeah, we've been having a humanity crisis at the border ever since, I don't know how long ago. It's even worse now, but they don't want to talk about it. Let's see. Americans should have acted when the first gun law was implemented. It's getting way too late to fight back. I agree with you. We should just have no gun laws. Like embolden people to own guns and stop restricting people from owning guns, because criminals are going to own it no matter what. They're going to have them no matter what, man. I mean, it's only the people who are going to participate that it matters. If you don't participate, gun laws don't mean nothing to you. Since when have a thug said, oh, you know what, man, it's illegal to carry this firearm because I'm a convicted felon. It's illegal to carry this firearm. I'm going to leave it at the crib. Man, said no criminal in the history of the world. Every thug that I found had a legal pistol on them. They don't care. They out here thugging. They don't care about no legal pistol. They're gonna get 2 years in prison or something and be back out thugging. Let's see. Shawcliffe, thank you so much. Let's see. I think it's Shawcliffe. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Emily Candice, any comments on Canada arrest pastors, journalists and the church underground that has arisen? Too bad you missed that one. Thank you for the super chat, though. I wish you would have got that in there. Richard, thanks so much for super chat. Lynn, much love, respect to you both. Let's see. B, years ago, the Western world started supporting China despite the fact that they were authoritative. Their reasons was as China would change, but in the end, they didn't. We did. We're very quickly becoming them. Agree? I agree, 100%. Richard, thanks so much for the super chat. Nobody red pill the left like the left. Agreed. Do you think even if he goes to jail, Chauvin, you think there still be riots, Candice? I'm sorry she missed that question, but I'm pretty sure she agreed with me. It's going to be riots no matter what. Boy, they're going to be rioting and looting and stealing stores and burning and shooting each other, because that's what these fools do. I almost used the N-word, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I just wanted to say you guys are awesome, and thank you for your voice. I appreciate it. Keep up the great work, Officer Tatum and Candace. Morris Hall is guilty of third-degree murder. I agree. That's the drug dealer of George Floyd. If Chauvin go to prison, the drug dealer needs to go to prison. Clearly, he sold the drugs. Through other people's testimony, he sold drugs to him, and he died as subsequent. Okay, I agree with you, Candice. Let's see. Man, there's so many super chats. My God, I love you guys, and thank you for all these super chats. But God dang, I'm trying to make it through it, y'all. Okay, I love you, Candice. Candice, what do you say to people that say Candice is bought and paid for? I can speak on Candice's behalf. Y'all can go kiss her rear end. Bought and paid for by nobody. She's an entrepreneur. I know. I've been knowing Candice for several years now. Ain't nobody buying and paying Candice nothing. And if you think you're gonna buy and pay Candice, you ain't got enough money to. Let's see. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for the super chat. Love you, Candice and Brandon. Minnesotan here. Please pray for us. I never ever voted for these Democrats. 100%. I love your comment. Thank you so much. And thank you for the $50 super chat. I got married over the weekend. I was wearing the Tatum shirt under my tux, and your bracelet felt good. Sonny, you gotta send me a picture. You gotta send me a picture somewhere. Send me a picture through email, which is connect@theofficertatum.com. Connect@theofficertatum.com. Send me somewhere. Find my email. Send me a picture. I would love to see that. That is beautiful. Send me pictures for your wedding. And congratulations on your marriage. Content and character. Content of character. Let's see. Mr. Review Guy, thanks so much for the super chat. Travis, I almost messed up and sent a blank message. Laughed my butt off. Yo, I love your message and sending, message you're sending to people. Don't give up. The good fight. Peace and love. Thank you so much. Shelly Ann, thanks so much for the super chat. Let's see. Caius, thanks so much for the super chat. Really, we don't have time for all of this race war BS because the world is about to go to war. People need to realize now America must unite. It ain't gonna happen, but I love what you said. It's a great gesture. Jupiter, thanks so much for the super chat. Jason, Owens Tatum 2024. That'd be great. Soralita, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm an immigrant in Africa. China is taking over. Go see Zimbabwe. China is so in power, disrespectful with them. I'm 100% with any country going against China. Let's see. Caius, Donald Trump for governor of California. Major Williams is whack. My wife just destroyed Major. No, I ain't gonna say my wife. My wife didn't do nothing to Major Williams. Major Williams destroyed his career. Let me tell y'all what that fool said to me. He said about my wife. And I'm gonna say this real quick, and I normally don't talk about this, but man, I gotta call these people out. Major Williams he's a fraud. People have inboxed receipts on how fraudulent he is. He is a fraudulent person. There's a person that just came out that's a celebrity that got hundreds of thousands of followers that came out and told all these details about how fraudulent Major Williams is. And Major Williams is not even his real name. That's not his real name. So he's a fraud. And he got on the thing and said that I can't control my wife. That his critique was that these people, this man that can't control his wife. He lost it all when he said that. First of all, I don't need to control my wife. I support my wife. I support my wife even if she's wrong. She can say something crazy. That's my wife. So what? She said it. Now what you gonna do about it? You ain't gonna do nothing. So you better just chalk it up as a loss on your end. But my wife can say what she want to say. However, my wife do come to me and say, baby, you think I should write this? And I'll be like, nah, baby, you going way too hard. These people ain't got no stomach for what you about to say to them. But everything my wife say, I support 100%. And my wife called out Major Williams, who's a fraud in California, just running up y'all money, knowing he ain't got no chance of winning. He had no chance of winning the mayor of Pasadena, and now he running for governor. No name recognition, no leadership experience, and he support BLM. The dude is a fraud. All these women are coming out saying that he doing nefarious things with them, trying to hit him up in the DM. I'm gonna tell y'all, he messaged my wife before she was my wife, hitting her with hearts and I remember her telling me before me and her was even together. She said, man, I just met that guy. Man, he creepy. What are he doing? My wife got pictures when she was doing modeling. He hit married man, hit my wife up. She wasn't my wife at the time, but he was hitting her up with emojis and stuff, trying to put a filter out there. See if she bite. Bro, I swear to God is my witness. I can't stand these fraudulent people. I travel all over the country. I'm at universities with some fine young women. I have integrity. You ain't come in my hotel. Don't even talk to me. I go to dinner with these Turning Point people because I respect them because the chapters do a lot. But we ain't finna drink together. You ain't coming to my hotel. I'm not emojiing you. I'm not liking your pictures. I honor my wife when my wife ain't around. If you a man that can't have enough integrity that you ain't, bro, you can look at Instagram. You may be looking around on Instagram. You may see some fine women on Instagram, whatever. It's everywhere. Bro, when you hit the emojis, you emojiing, you hitting hearts and flames, bro. You so disrespectful to your wife. I want to confront you about it. How you gonna do your wife like that? You in there, you got women on the internet saying you creeping and sleeping. Not creeping and sleeping, but you trying to hook up with women and doing all kind of crazy stuff. Bro, you should be ashamed of your sorry self. And I'm glad my wife calling you out like that. You a disgrace, man. I seen the messages that people messaging us about you. And I was only talking about you a disgrace because you're spending your money in the wrong places and you know you can't win the gubernatorial race. But then you out here being a fraud. Fraud. Y'all ain't gonna never catch me. You ain't never gonna catch me sending some chick no message or happy smiley faces. I ain't you ain't finna get me caught up. I love my wife. I love my marriage. I ain't finna lose this for nothing. I ain't finna be sitting in an apartment where my wife get half my money. That ain't happening. And I respect my wife. I respect my wife's family. Like y'all, they raising dudes out here that ain't up to no good. One of the reasons why I won't ever disrespect my wife by cheating or doing anything like that, because I not only respect God, I respect my marriage, and I respect my wife's family. I respect her father. Her father gave me the green light to marry her. I ain't finna be hitting no emojis on no chicks on no Instagram. You married, bruh. You had all this time when you were single to smash and dash, but you want to do it while you married. You don't even respect your wife enough to do that. And don't say you weren't doing it because you did it with my wife before we got married. You sitting there trying to throw filters out there. And you're doing it with women online. I wouldn't even want to call you out, but you shouldn't be doing that, man. You shouldn't be doing that. And I expect people to call me out if I'm online with I'm married and I'm up here hitting on these girls at the turning point. Man, don't even, y'all ain't finna catch me doing nothing like that. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't go out. I don't even want to be seen around women like that. I don't even want the perception of wickedness coming from me. Men got to be better than that, bro. You spitting in the face of your wife. I can't believe it. I can't believe the stuff that I'm reading. It makes me angry emotionally when I think about Major Williams and I think about these dudes, Joe Collins. They are robbing people, man. People should sue them and get their money back. They're running a sham campaign, in my opinion. When you know you can't win, but you still running for office every year, bro, you like run for a position you can win, or tell people or help another candidate. Yeah, like if you in California and you don't know who Tamika Hamilton is, but you know who Major Williams is, and you in California, you making a big mistake. You know who Joe Collins is, but you don't know who Tamika Hamilton is, you making a big mistake. Tamika Hamilton lost by 5 percentage points. 5 percentage points. And she had a budget of hundreds of thousands. I don't even think she was nowhere near $1 million. These dudes raising $10 million and losing by like 40%. I want to cuss so bad, man. I want to cuss. I want to get in the face of some of these people, but I won't. But it's a shame that y'all out here pimping out conservatives like that. I never run for office unless I knew I was going to win or I believed I had a chance. And if I run for a position I don't have a chance, I say, okay, I underestimated that. I was way off. Like, y'all got to understand this. There's candidates that only have a certain amount of Republican registration in these counties. You got to look them up. Some are like the Democrats outnumber voters by like 20,000, 100,000. So that means you're gonna have to get every Republican, and you're gonna have to flip like 40% of the Democrats to even win. In a district that's been run by Democrats for 30 years, and you with no name recognition is somehow gonna do that. I want to cuss, y'all. I'm through talking about it. I get mad. That dude came out online talking about I can't control my wife, and he up there in girls' DMs. Bro, you are the shadiest mother freaker that I ever known. You a shady, sorry sucker. All you suckers out here pimping out conservatives for money. You should be ashamed of your mother freaking self. I'm gonna get off here before I get mad. Out here pimping out people. People paying their hard-earned money. They give you $5, the last dime they got, and you out here playing with their money. Out here eating at fancy restaurants and flying on private jets and with people hard-earned money because they really believe in you. And you crapping on them because you just trying to make a come up. You out here you out here trying to flirt with women. You supposed to be on the campaign trail, Negro. Oh, I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm mad, man. I would never do people like that. I hope somebody sue him and he go to jail. I would never do people like that. I don't want your money. I give you a service. When people buy my merch on my store, I bust my rear end to make sure it's quality, to work with the warehouse, to make sure you get it on time. I'd lose sleep building that store, building people got point systems, you get discounts for this and this and that. I bust my rear to provide a service. So when you buy the service and I make money off of it, I'm cool with that. I fly all over the country and provide a service of inspiration to many people. When I make money off that, that's cool. But I'm not finna take your money as a donation and go and ball out of control on your money. No, I ain't got no integrity. No, I ain't even treat my wife right. Knowing that if one of these women get mad at me, they're gonna tell that I'm texting at night. My Korean ain't never gonna get no message from no woman unless she lying. That Brandon didn't. That looked at me. I turn my head when women come by. Listen, there's women with big old booties and breasts and all kind of stuff that make you want to look at it. Well, I turn my head. I say, I ain't looking at that. I love my wife. I don't even want to look at no other woman like that. It makes me feel good to do that. It's like building my relationship energy. I'm like already tip top when I'm faithful to my wife and I'm being confident in my marriage and I'm doing the right things, even when I can do the wrong thing. I don't do that stuff. Yeah, major in California, the dude running for governor. What a wankster, man. I wouldn't even talk about the dude if he wasn't such a hypocrite. Brandon, why do you call out who's really controlling everything? Nick Cannon knows. Tucker talked about it last night. Candice and yourself are the start of the people that will help fix the problem 100%. Let's see. Thank you, MT, for the $99 super chat. Just got here. Finally made it to one of the streams. Why is there a $100 limit? I thought we could do more. Anyway, thank you for all you do. You woke up my brother. I'm deeply grateful. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're supposed to be able to give 500, but I don't expect nobody, 500 cuz unless you want to. I had somebody give me 500 on accident. They were like, I meant to put 50. I'm like, really? To give 500, that thing turned red. It turned all kind of colors if you donate 500. Anyway, thank you for speaking the truth. I appreciate it. Let's see. BLM Antifa destroys our WW2 memorial, World War II memorial in DC. F those people. Thank you for defending our flag. A professor from our old art school posted a picture of the flag on Facebook with the red stripes in the middle, forming a swastika. You should have slept. Never mind. I never spoke to him again. Let's see. Think USA is bad. Look at the leadership in my neighborhood of Canada. So how can you say that with underneath the flag, Black people were treated wrong over so many years and they still are we supposed to support? Javon, I'm not gonna get mad at you. I'm just gonna educate you real quick. The same flag that you say so many Black people suffered under is the same flag that so many Black people flourished under. The same flag where Black people fought in the South, Black people also fought for the North under that same flag. The same flag that created this environment where Black people are the most successful out of anywhere in the world. You are able to be on the internet and doing all of these things because of the sacrifice that was made for this country. And Black people, like Black people are mistreating other Black people in Africa as you speak. What do you think? They care about you more? Every Black person wasn't a slave. So you got to go with the good and the bad. Harriet Tubman helped free the slaves. White people helped her. So under that flag, where you have white abolitionists who were helping freeing the slaves, who never believed in slavery, the North never believed in slavery, the North never owned slaves, only indentured servants who did better than white migrants that would come over in this country. Y'all are so one-track minded. You got to look at the big picture. If you're a Christian and you're a believer, look at the story of Joseph. He had to go through something to get to the plateau or to get to the greatness that God had for him. Black people were called to a better calling and a better purpose that we didn't know about at the time. But what the devil meant for evil, what man thought was evil, turned out for our good. The most prosperous, the most successful Black people in the whole world are in the United States of America. That same flag that you claim hurt Black people, help Black people. That same flag where racist people live under, people who hate racism live under that flag. So which side are you on? That same flag where people try to take away your rights, that same flag assure your rights through the Constitution of the United States of America. And I guarantee you, anybody that disrespect this country, you never served. You didn't serve. You didn't serve. I could be wrong, but most people that talk about this country, they never served this country. They never put their life on the line for this country. They don't know the history of this country. They don't feel the history. They don't live the history. They don't walk in the boots. They don't get on the planes that men and women died on or died, in transit or when they landed in a foreign land. You're not on those military bases. You don't smell the air and the stench from third world countries. You don't know what's going on. You don't serve with your life. When you serve with your life, you appreciate America better. That's all I'll say. And I love you anyway for the super chat. The Democrats are not for the Second Amendment. We need patriotism back in America before our actual race. Thank you so much. God dang it, this thing jumped. Dang, that's a whole bunch of more super chats. I love you guys anyway. Let's see. I had an easy bake oven as a kid, and I'm not soft. I'm a strong Christian conservative, bruh. Back off. So easy bake ovens for little girls, but that's fine because I'm not gonna lie. I played with an easy bake oven. It wasn't mine, but I wanted to see how cool it was, so I played with it. I think it was my cousin easy bake oven, but that's funny. Came here from Ireland and served in the American Army, then Navy, just to be told to go back to my country for voting for Trump. Yeah, these people can. I ain't gonna say that. I need to be a Christian. Play the B. Tatum song. All right, here you go.
It's the B. Tatum show. It's the B. Tatum. It's the B. Tatum show.
That's my dance with the B. Tatum show. It's the B. Tatum. It's the B. Tatum. All right, cool. I love that song, man. My friend Levester did it. He made that song for me. It was great. Hey, Tatum, got done watching Will from Let's Talk about it. Should do a stream with him sometime. Benjamin once said, if you give up liberty for security, is that Benjamin Franklin? Give up liberty for security, you will have neither, and you will desire neither, or deserve neither. I think you spelled that wrong. Seriously, thanks so much for the super chat. DM, thank you for the super chat. Any news on capital murder of unarmed woman? No news on it. They don't care. She was white. She was a Trump supporter. They don't care. Any restrictions on any gun by any level of government in the United States is unconstitutional. 100%. Do you think the media has BLM in their pocket? Yes, they do. If they stop reporting these stories, would they see decrease in money? Yes. Should they be investigated? Yes. I just got asked for ID to buy a beer. I should sue because Biden says is Jim Crow, and I'm a minority. I went to a hotel. Obviously, my hotel was purchased as a part of my speaking fee. Went to the hotel. The lady said, "Can I see your ID?" And I laughed because I couldn't help but think, like, is this supposed to be racist? Right? This is supposed to be racist. She asked me for my ID. What if I didn't have an ID because I'm black? I can't stay at a hotel? Come on. And then when I got to the front of the line, I normally do clear, so I don't have to show my ID. I should have a discount code or be like a marketer for Clear. That's the best investment I ever made in my life is Clear, especially if you travel. I go right to the front of the line. They scan my eyes, and then I put my boarding pass on my phone in there. I never use my ID. But sometimes when Clear is closed, I got to go up to the thing, and I get in my ID. Sometimes they don't even want my boarding pass. They just want my ID. So I guess black people can't fly without an ID. If you were still an officer as a Revolutionary War occurred, do you stand by your oath as an officer to defend this admin or stand by your patron? No, listen, your oath as an officer is not that you swear an oath to your police chief or you swear an oath to the president of the United States. You swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. Now in the military, they supposed to uphold whatever the commander in chief say. We supposed to uphold the Constitution in the police department, the Constitution. And then we are to enforce municipal laws. But the Constitution supersedes any municipal laws or state law. The Constitution. You can't, if your chief say, no, you should be able to do this. No, you can't force entry in somebody's house because it's unconstitutional. You can't just go in somebody's house without a reason, without exigency or a search warrant. You can't do it. It's unconstitutional. And that's what we stand up for. Now, if you're dumb enough to vote for a governor that has executive power to do XYZ, don't get mad at the cops. Get mad at your governor. How can I be a mod? Amanda, I need you to reach out to my mods and see if you can communicate with them, because I have actual mods that are like that. I know them personally for the most part. Let's see, bro. Ain't no one talking to my wife like that, or else my 1911 going to work. Crazy as blank. Yeah, man. Listen. I know y'all don't know how frustrated it made me that boy said I can't control my wife. Like, I'm trying to play it cool and not like put the boy on blast, because I think he's gonna do it to himself. But like, bro, you better not ever disrespect my wife. Tell me I need to control my wife. You're gonna put yourself in a bad position. Just had a discourse with people who didn't understand policing and dropping the important objective stats. Talk about George Floyd, Minnesota shooting, YouTube. Yeah, I got both of those videos on my YouTube. So if you need commentary on it, just go to my videos. Love you for everything you do. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Hi, my friend. You need to check out the Mighty Networks and set up your own social network. I do have my own social network. My people who are on the Tatum squad, they'll have access to my social network. So it'll be available to everybody, but you have to join the Tatum squad. I'm only doing the social network for my social people. I'm not doing it for everybody. Everybody and their mama got a social media network. I'm only doing a social network for my people, my squad, people that are loyal, people that love me, people that support me. I'm doing a social network. I already have it available. We just got to do the finishing touches on it. But we have a social network that I'm releasing to Tatum Squad people. So if you want to be a part of it, join the Tatum Squad, and you'll have access to that. It's going to be a whole community. We got a whole community. It's a whole little thing. You and Candice, red pill me, honor, respect, Hispanic American, 100%. Oh, that's great, man. I love it. Thank you so much, Eddie. Skip my super chat directed at Candice. Could you discuss Canadian arrests, pastor, journalist, worshiping, or attending? I mean, what do you, Emily, thank you so much for the super chat. I read it, but I wasn't sure what you wanted to say about it. I did see in Canada where they're arresting pastors and stuff. I seen pastors kicking police officers out of the churches. I don't know what to really say about it. I think that it's the people are too cowardice to stand up to it. I don't know what else to say. Like, Canadians don't want to stand up to it. Americans are next, but Canadians don't want to stand up to it. Stand up to this stuff, man. The church should shut the door on these people. I don't even know if they got guns in Canada. So it's asinine that Canadians are doing this, but I think Canada is just China, and then Canada is taking a step. So China is doing it first. Whatever China is doing, we're going to end up doing it later, 10, 15, 20 years later, or maybe less than that. Canada is trying to do stuff before America do it. They all test running. If y'all don't be careful, it's going to end up being the same. Allison, thank you so much for the super chat. Bryson, let the haters hate. Bryson, man, love you, brother. I appreciate it. Y'all need to follow Bryson. Bryson got his music video out. I'm going to do a review on his latest music video because it go too hard. I think it's like it's called chapter and verse. It go way too hard. I just want to warn y'all, when I do the review, if you ain't really about that life, you ain't about that Christian life, you might want to wait till I make another video, because you're going to either cry or you're going to get saved, one of the two. And if you save, you're going to get inspired, or you're going to quit God. One of the two going to happen to you. It's crazy how a 14-year-old teen can comply and not be stupid. But all these others have to literally do something stupid. Comply and you live. Easy as that. Matthew, thanks so much for the super chat. Hey, I thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'm gonna say a quick prayer at the end of this. Y'all make sure y'all shout out to Candace Owens. Her links are in the description section. If you want to buy her book, go to Daily Wire, become a member so you can watch her show. Let's see, paying for letters, Turning Point, same topic next. Same topic next. Turning Point, same topic next. I don't even know what you're talking about. I wish I knew. Discount code on my store if you want to go and buy something from my store, 30% off. It's going to end tonight. You better get you some stuff. If it's somehow you late to the game and we sold out because people didn't bought it all, I love you, and we'll restock. But you probably miss out on this discount. So it's going to end by midnight my time, Arizona time. So you got about, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you got about 3 hours and 40 minutes. So it's going to go in 3 hours and 40 minutes. Shop around, buy my store out, buy it out. We'll restock it next week. B. Tatum, Candice, thank you for this episode. I appreciate it. So, and again, special shout out to Candace Owens again. Yeah, we're still doing the Thursday show. I think ABL will be able to join me for the Thursday show. We're going to try to put some new people on the Thursday show, try to change it up, talk to people about a lot of stuff and see where we go from there. I love you guys, man. I appreciate you. Let me say a quick prayer. Again, Candice, 30% off on my store. If you don't know how to spell Candice, then you probably shouldn't get a discount. And I love you anyway. All right, so let's say a quick prayer. If you want to join me, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. Lord, thank you for waking us up for another day, a new opportunity. Thank you for blessing us, the many things that you've done for us in this country. We are greatly appreciative of it. God, I pray that you influence the minds and the hearts of those who are inspired to inspire others to be thankful and grateful and inspired by your word, by the things that you did through your son, Jesus. And God, we really appreciate all the things that you've done. We can't say it enough. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for saving the people who are saved on this live stream. And I thank you in advance for the people that you're going to save in the near future. God, I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you reveal yourself to people who are curious, who are I can say thirsting for your presence, thirsting for your truth and your values, and thirsting for salvation. Even those right now who are praying that they receive the gift of the Holy Spirit, praying that they receive the gift of speaking in tongues. God, I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you grant them that gift. I know people are waiting, people are praying. I want to share with you right now. If that's you, I want you to pray right now while I'm praying. I want you to pray that God allows you to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit, allow you to receive the spiritual gift of speaking in tongues, or whatever spiritual gift that you desire. I pray God will give that to you right now on this live stream. All you got to do is pray. All you got to do is believe. I'm going to believe for you. Other saints will believe for you. It's, for some reason, I'm thinking to say this. So if you are that person and you've been praying that God give you his spirit and give you evidence of his spirit, I pray right now that you receive it in the name of Jesus. You need to pray. You need to worship God and let him do this while I'm praying. So keep praying, keep worshiping God. Let him fill you with his spirit. Thank you guys. And God, I want to say, that we appreciate what you've done. Thank you for all our politicians. We pray that you get them on the right path. You get them to being more like you. Get them to doing what's right, and root out all those who have ill will. If it's according to your will, Lord, root them out. Let them fall in the pit that they set up for this country. Let them fall in their own divisive structures. And God, we know you can do it. We know that you're faithful. The same prayer that King David prayed, God, is our prayer. Let them fall in the net that they try to cast for us. We pray for our president. You know, we pray for Biden that he do the right thing, and pray that you remove him if he don't do the right thing. We pray for President Trump that he stay focused and to be encouraged, given the fact that what happened to him this time around. But I know everything is in your will, God. And if you didn't ordain it, it wouldn't have happened. So help us to understand why Biden is the president, and help us to understand what we need to know and how to perform at the best of our abilities. God, I pray for everybody that shared on this channel, everybody that has blessed this channel financially through sharing the videos, through watching the videos, telling other people about it, just being faithful, hit the like button. God, I pray that you bless them in the ways that you see fit, whether it's financial, whether it's peace, whether it's hope, whether it's a prayer that they've had. God, I pray that you bless them as they have helped propel your message and help propel something really positive in the kingdom in your name. And I pray, God, that you bless us in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm looking all everywhere, but I pray to God that whoever wanted the gift of the Holy Spirit, that God gave you the gift of the Holy Spirit. And I'm not God, so I don't know if he gave it to you or not. I don't know if you experienced it or not, but I tell you what, I pray that God gave it to you. And if you're still praying, keep praying. If you still gotta go to church tomorrow, sit on your face in front of the pew. You lay there and pray to God until something move. I'm finna start preaching in a minute. You lay there and pray till something move. And people are gonna doubt you. People are gonna question you. Don't worry about what people say. You read your Bible. Read the book of Acts 2. Read the day of the Pentecost. That's what God has said, that the promises to you and everybody who is far off, even as many as the Lord thy God shall call. I want you to pray and you to seek God with your whole heart without any reservation. You need to go all out. Like you need to want God as bad as you want to breathe. You need to forget all these people looking at you. Don't care about what people are going to say about you. You don't care about your makeup. Don't care about you getting ugly. Don't worry about your hair. You need to love God. You need to get in his presence. You need to feel it. You need to feel God. Don't let people start telling these people ain't got no power. These people don't have God in them. They are living over here in a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Don't worry about these people. You get in the face of God. It ain't nothing wrong with getting emotional. It ain't nothing wrong with you crying. It ain't nothing wrong with you being vulnerable to God. That's the only way you're going to break out of this thing. I'm talking to somebody. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm talking to somebody. The only way you're going to break out of this thing is you got to get ugly before God. And when I say get ugly, you got to put away all your reservations. You got to put away all the things that you thought was something you wasn't going to do. You wasn't going to say, you wasn't going to let go. You wasn't going to show your vulnerability. You got to show it. You got to put yourself in a position that God can work with you. And that's just laying it all down. Saying, I don't care about nothing. God, just do it. Use me. Work with me. I'm getting rid of all what people say, my reservations, all that churchy stuff, all that religion. I'm getting rid of it. And I want God. So anyway, I got to go down there. My baby is I need to pray for my baby because he is a maniac right now. Let's see. Thank y'all for the super chat, man. I got to get out of here. I love y'all. I'll see you on the next episode. Shout out to Candace Owens again. Thank her for coming on. Y'all make sure y'all bless her by supporting her book. I could keep praying, but I think God is saying that's it. Whoever heard that need to hear that. That's all they need to hear today. You can hear something else next time. But God bless you. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.